welcome back to the GSMC Baseball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Sam Menzi, and we have a great show for you today. First topic we'll be going over is the heartbreaking news of Ronald Acuña Jr. tearing his ACL again and being out for the entire season for the Atlanta Braves. After that, we'll be going over Paul Skeens and his tremendous start to the season and my overall thoughts on him and the Pirates. After that, we'll be going over Mason Miller and the Oakland Athletics and just what's been going on with his season and how incredible it's been. And finally, for the fourth and fifth segments, we'll be going over my takeaways from the American League and National League standings while I have been out. Now, as I said, I have been out for a little bit, so it is great to talk to you guys again and be back on the show. I was out for 2 weeks. I had some personal things planned before I did end up doing this, so I did have to take some time off, but I'm very glad to be back. I'm very excited to be back. I'm very excited to be talking baseball here again with all of you guys. Very exciting for me. Always have a great time doing it. So, yeah, we're going to get straight into it. We talked about our first segment here, which is going to be going over the huge breaking news that did end up breaking last night, which was Ronald Acuña Jr. and his ACL tear for the Atlanta Braves. Now, obviously, Ronald Acuña Jr. is the reigning MVP in Major League Baseball, one of the best players in the entire league. I don't really think that has to be said at this point. We all know how good he is, and the fact that he did tear his ACL again is extremely heartbreaking and a really, really sad story in baseball this year. So I want to go over just the impact on the Braves first of all, and I think the impact on the Braves really cannot be overstated. I mean, Acuña is a guy who year in and year out is in contention for being the best player in baseball, one of the faces of our league, and the fact that you have now lost him for the entire year, I mean, there's no if, ands, or buts about it. When you tear your ACL, you're done for the year. Especially as a baseball player, I mean, there's no coming back from that. Your knee, obviously, is a major part of everything you do as a baseball player, and it's a huge injury for a baseball player. So having this type of injury this early into the season is extremely heartbreaking, especially for Acuña, a guy who has dealt with a lot of injuries in his past before, towards other ACL in the past as well, which is something we'll be going further on in this segment. So, yeah, the fact that you're having your best player out, I'd say he's their best player. I don't really think anyone would argue with that. Your best player is now out for the season already. It's really something that is extremely heartbreaking and disheartening if you are a Braves fan. I mean, you've already had a little bit of a rough start to the season so far. The Phillies, of course, are in first place in the NL East, not you, which is something that is very surprising. I mean, it's also a good amount of a gap between you guys. It's not like it's 1 or 2 games. No, it's a significant amount. And when you look at the Braves, you think of how dominant this team has been in the past, having that stronghold on the NL East. And the fact that you don't right now, and you just lost Acuña, I'd be very worried. I mean, you look at this team, and losing Acuña is so heartbreaking and just affects your team in so many ways. I mean, your offense now is significantly worse, and it's going to be interesting to see if they do try to combat this injury. Now, there are a few options for what the Braves can do. I mean, first of all, I think the most likely option that is going to happen is going to be having Jared Kelenic and Adam Duvall both become everyday players. Duvall and Kelenic were being platoon bats in left field for each other. Kelenic against right-handers, Duvall against left-handers. But now with Acuña being out for the rest of the year and not being an option, I would say that both of them would probably be starting every day now. Duvall against righties, Kelenic against lefties. I think Duvall can handle righties honestly pretty fine, but Kelenic against lefties is something I'm worried about. I don't really think Kelenic is that great of a player anyways, and his strong suit is definitely against righties, so now the fact that you're going to be throwing him in against lefties every single day does create kind of a black hole at the end of your lineup, so that's something I'm not really excited about if I was a Braves fan. But again, Braves traded for him for a reason. Apparently, as they said in the offseason, he was the only position player they tried to acquire this offseason, so they obviously see something in him, they obviously like him. Obviously has huge pedigree, being a former top prospect of the Mets, former top prospect of the Mariners, former high overall draft pick by the Mets. So there could still be something left in there. Maybe the Braves see it. Personally, I don't, but I'm not a major league executive, so we'll have to see what happens there with Kelenic. After that, there is another option, which is going to be Marcell Ozuna. You could have him play every day in the outfield. He is your starting DH currently, has been one of the best hitters in baseball this year after a rocky couple of years before, dealing with some legal issues. So you could potentially play him in the outfield, then have a DH combination of Travis d'Arnaud and Sean Murphy. Both are obviously 2 of your starting catchers, and having one of them play catcher and one of them play DH on and off days is something that is very possible. Murphy was out for most of this year, just came back after an injury. So you are getting him back, even though you are losing Acuña. So obviously I'd say you don't want to lose Acuña, but at least you're getting some sort of news with it. I guess that is a positive, getting Murphy back. So it is a possibility that you could play Ozuna in the outfield and have Sean Murphy and Travis d'Arnaud catch and DH both switch in that role. I don't think that's very likely, as much as Ozuna is a great hitter, and I think this would be the best hitting combination. The outfield defense Ozuna brings is absolutely horrible. I mean, Acuña wasn't the best defensive outfielder, no doubt about it, but at the same time, he had speed, he had an arm at least, but Ozuna has none of that. I mean, this guy cannot field, so I do understand there's a little trepidation if you are a Braves fan, or if you're a Braves general manager, putting Ozuna in the outfield when he is just a DH. Personally, I get that, and I do understand. So I get that. Another one is keeping with the platoon of Kelenic and Duvall and putting in JP Martinez or Forrest Wall in there in right. Both are guys in AAA. Both are your main depth pieces for the outfield. Forrest Wall has been doing really well in AAA, so that is an option. I would say that is a possibility there for the Braves. But right now, it seems to be that Duvall and Kelenic will both be in the outfield for the rest of the year. Again, it is an option to trade for someone at the deadline. There are a lot of good options, I'd say, that are available if you would like to trade for anyone. But right now, I think that's what it is, and it is a significant blow to the Braves. Obviously, I mean, whenever you lose the reigning NL MVP, I'd say it's going to be something that is pretty significant. There's no real doubt about that. So, yeah, if I'm a Braves fan, I'm not feeling great today, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm feeling really disappointed about the season. I mean, we could say with the excuses, the last time Acuña tore his ACL, the Braves won the World Series. Yes, that's true, but that's just, I'd say that's extreme cherry picking at this point. So you're looking at the Braves right now, and you're not feeling great. I mean, you just lost Acuña. You've lost Spencer Strider before. Arguably your two best players. How are you going to deal with this? Yes, Chris Sale's been stepping up in the rotation, but is he really the guy you want starting Game 2 of your playoff run with, Max Fried obviously going Game 1? Is that really who you want going for Game 2 in 2024? I'm not exactly sure. Do you really want Adam Duvall and Jared Kelenic being two major hitters in your lineup in the playoffs? Not really sure. So right now, if you're a Braves fan, with all the underperformance you've had in the playoffs since 2021, since you won that World Series these past few years, it's not looking real great for you guys right now. Again, you haven't had a great run of it these last few years, especially in the playoffs, and losing your two best players, I'd say, is something that is going to be a significant blow to your team, and it is something that is going to affect you in the long run. Do I say their title hopes are dead? No, I don't. Do I think they're on life support? Yes. I think there's a lot of great teams in the NL this year. The Phillies are looking spectacular. Yes, they've played bad teams, but you can only beat who you've played, so I'm not going to give any flack to the Phillies whatsoever. The Dodgers, of course, are a super team. I mean, you have other great teams in the NL who have really surprised you, like the Cubs, the Brewers. There's a lot of good teams in the NL West. I mean, the Padres, after the Lisa Rise trade, are looking good. Diamondbacks, I still believe in. So there's a few other teams I think could make some noise. So if you're a Braves fan, you're going to have to proceed with caution for the rest of the year, seeing what does happen. So, yeah, I'm not excited about the rest of the season if I was a Braves fan as much as I was before. Definitely not looking great for you guys, and losing Acuña is a huge blow. And, yeah, it's looking a little rough right now. Now, another thing I want to talk about is long-term. How is this going to affect Acuña? Now, you may think, that's just an overreaction. I mean, everyone goes through injuries. Yes, very true. But at the same time, Acuña's had a significant amount of injuries for a guy in his career. He tore his ACL in 21. He was limited by the ACL in 22. 23, when fully healthy, he won an MVP. 24, he tore his ACL again. And it's in both knees now. So now, very early into his career, before even hitting his second contract, he's torn ACLs in both his knees. We've seen how great he is when fully healthy. 2023 won the MVP, but at the same time, this year is gone. This year's done, obviously. 24, who knows how it's going to affect him with the ACL. It did, obviously, in 2022 when he was recovering from it. So, I don't want to say this because it's really sad, but is Acuña going to become a what-if story? Is he going to become a guy we look at as, wow, his career could have been amazing if he stayed healthy? that's something you really have to wonder right now, because tearing the ACLs in both your knees at this young of an age and this early into your career is something that is extremely significant and is something that is going to affect him long term, and it's something that I am going to be watching. Now, I think this year's obviously a wash. Next year could be a wash depending on how his recovery goes. Didn't go well last time. 2026, we'll have to see. That's a long time away. So if I'm a Braves fan, I'm definitely worried about that, and I don't want Acuña to become a what-if, because we've seen what this guy does when he's fully healthy. He won the MVP last year. He had one of the greatest seasons in baseball history ever last year because he won the MVP. Every MVP year is the greatest of all time, probably except for 2020. So, yeah, I'm really just fascinated to see where Acuña's career does go from here. Not a good fascinated, because, again, I think it's a negative and it's something that is unfortunate, but something we'll have to see going on from now, and it's going to be interesting to see how his career is affected. It's going to be interesting to see how the Braves' year is affected, and just overall what does happen. So, yeah, that is it for our first segment here, talking about Ronald Acuña Jr. and the Atlanta Braves, and just what did end up happening here, and just the unfortunate situation of him tearing his ACL again. We'll be moving into our second segment, which is going to be talking about Paul Skenes and the start to his career, and just how impressed I've been and my overall thoughts on it. So yeah, going over that, and we'll see you after the break. So thanks you so much, and bye.
Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
And we're back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast, bringing you our second segment. But before we do that, I'd like to ask you again to please like and follow the show. We do get a number of questions from viewers, so to ensure that your question does get read in the air, please use the link gsmcpodcast.net. It really does help the show, and it really does mean a lot, so thank you so much for that. And let's get into our second segment of the day today. Now, we're going to be talking about Paul Skenes and the start to his career with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Now, of course, Skenes was the top prospect in baseball this year. Finally did come up. Well-deserved. I'd say he should have come up a little while ago after that. Finally came up for the Pittsburgh Pirates and has gotten off to an incredible start. So far with the Pirates, coming up with the Major League club, he's had 16 innings pitched, 4 walks, 21 strikeouts, a 2.25 ERA, and a whip of 1 flat. Now, Skenes has just been so incredible so far for the Pirates. One thing that's really stood out to me, and I don't know if it stood out to you guys, let me know in the comments, is how effortless Skenes throws. Now, of course, I've watched a lot of Paul Skenes games and over my life. I mean, I watched him back in college. I did watch some of his AAA games, some of his highlights as well down there. And I just love his windup. It's very effortless. Really, there's not much pressure on the body. It's very fluid. Looks like a machine just throwing baseballs out there. So that's one thing I've really been impressed with so far with Skenes. Obviously these numbers are incredible over these 3 starts. But yeah, I love his windup. I love how effortless it is. The way he just throws the baseball, the way it's so live coming out of his hand. I'm a really, really a big fan of Paul Skenes. I think he's going to do a lot in his career for the future. And I just think he's doing a really great job so far for the Pirates. I mean, he's looked so good in his short MLB career so far. He had a no-hitter through 6 in his second MLB start. Also in Wrigley Field. Not like he was in St. Petersburg versus the Rays, something like that. No, he was in Wrigley Field versus a division rival, a historic team. I do think a lot of rookies would have gotten a little flustered, would have maybe let the pressure get to them. But nope, he went 6 innings, gave up no hits, had a perfect game through 5. Of course, went out I mean, as much as we want to see Paul Skeens throw a no-hitter, it was the right decision. You can't have a guy this highly touted in the year of the pitching injuries go 9 full innings or above 6 because you want to see him potentially throw a no-hitter. That's just not smart business, and as much as baseball fans might hate it, it was the right decision for him to come out after the 6th. So my overall thoughts on Skeens again is I think he's an amazing pitcher. I think he has a long career in this league, and I'm really excited to just watch him in the future. Another thing that stood out with him to me has been how he's handled the pressure. You know, this is a guy who's been highly touted for a little while in college, was on the college program, wasn't on some small college team and just lucked out. No, he was on LSU Tigers that won the national championship with another amazing prospect, Dylan Cruz, who went 2nd overall. Everyone knew about them. This is a highly touted school for sports in general anyways. So, I mean, you look at Skeens, he already had that pressure. He was on an incredible national championship team, one of the best college baseball teams ever. You know, and you look at the other things, we're going to mention it. He has a famous girlfriend, someone who a lot of people know, someone who gets a lot of media coverage. That didn't faze him as well. So there was a lot going at Skeens. There was a lot at him, you know, being this highly touted prospect, being on such a good LSU team, being in a relationship with someone that is highly publicized, having so much pressure on him to come to the major leagues, come up to the Pirates and be their savior, quote unquote, with how bad Pittsburgh Pirates baseball has been these past few years. And he took it all in stride. And nothing happened with him at all, and he's been fantastic so far. Fantastic. I think when you look at this guy, you look at his fastball. I mean, he throws a 99 to 101 consistently like it's nothing. I mean, I mentioned his windup before, just how effortless he throws, how incredible he throws that baseball. It really is something to marvel, and it really is something that is honestly incredible to watch, and something that I really love watching as just a pure baseball fan. It's so funny. He does it so well. His off speed is something that's been incredible as well. His 2 and 3 pitches have been working really well as well. And another thing I want to go back to the fastball on is something that people mentioned coming out of college and going into the draft when he got drafted was that his fastball didn't have a lot of movement. It was kind of just a straight line, and that it was fast, but it didn't really have much movement on it. Now, personally, I understood those fears by baseball fans. It was really mainly, you know, big people who are really into advanced analytics. I am as well. I am into analytics, but I wouldn't say I'm not in it as much as some people are. I'm in it to probably a baseline level. Like, I do know them. I can't talk about them proficiently, but it's not my real, like, biggest strong suit, but I obviously do know a lot about them. And my thought process, like a lot of people, was okay, yes, maybe that's a little bit of a concern, but when you throw a 99 to 101 consistently, you don't need that much movement on your fastball. And I still think that's true, but something that's very much impressed me has been there is movement on his fastball now. You look at the stats, you look at just watching the game as well. His fastball does have some movement on it. It is moving, is doing a really good job of moving there. It's it's doing a really good job of, going to the plate and again having movement, just moving. And that's something that's impressed me is his work ethic. He added this already, doing a great job already in his career, doing these things. So if I'm a Pirates fan, I see this work ethic, I see how well he's doing so far, and I'm really, really excited to have an ace of the future. I mean, the Pirates have had a lot of good pitchers in their lifetime. I mean, of course, you had Garrett Cole, who was an ace-level pitcher, first overall pick by you guys, who went to a big baseball school as well, UCLA. Hopefully Skeens' career in Pittsburgh doesn't end up like Cole's, because of course Cole got traded from the Pirates and didn't spend his career there. You're hoping Skeens does. But, you compare it to that, and you compare him to other top pitching prospects as well. Of course, the main one that people are going to say is Stephen Strasburg. So, yeah, I mean, obviously you're hoping it doesn't really end up like those two careers. I mean, obviously Cole didn't have a great career in Pittsburgh because he got traded from there. And Strasburg, of course, had a great career winning World Series to the Nationals, but in the end of years was not as great. But I think when you're a Pirates fan, you really just have to hope this guy lives to his potential and does become the guy your pitcher you're looking for and the guy you're looking for his career. I think he is, and I'm really, really excited to watch him. And overall, if I'm a Pirates fan, I have a lot of faith in the future of this team. I mean, of course, you have Skeens anchoring the rotation. You have Jared Jones, who was a top prospect, came up with you guys, has blown everyone's wildest expectations out of the water. I mean, this guy has just been so incredible for the Pirates. His fastball has been insane. His off-speed pitches have been incredible. The control has been something that I'm really excited about if I was a Pirates fan. I mean, I knew this guy coming up. I knew what he was. I was like, okay, he has a big arm, but can he control the fastball? Can he control his pitches? He's done a great job of that so far. A really, really nice job. And he's been an amazing pitcher. And if I'm a Pirates fan, I'm looking at Jared Jones and Paul Skeens as my ace tandem for the future, a 1 and a 2. Mitch Keller, who was recently extended, another great pitcher for you guys. Started off really unfortunate this year with a rough start, but has really found his way after a great season last year. Is building off of that and is doing a really, really good job. So if I'm a Pirates fan, I'm really excited about this future right now. Skeens, Jones, Keller, that's a nasty top 3 for a long, long time. Keller's already been extended. I could see Jared Jones and Paul Skeens being extended relatively soon if both those players do decide that route is good for them. And that's a top 3 that is going to be formidable for a long, long time. You look at the position player core as well. You know, you have great guys like Brian Ronald, Henry Davis, who has started off his MLB career rough, but is a former first overall pick. I have all the faith in the world he's going to get it together. You have other guys who are going to be really big parts of your core. Brian Hayes, who is going to be your third baseman for a long time with that defense. Tamar Johnson, who's going to come up soon for you guys. Brian Reynolds is a really incredible player. O'Neal Cruz, of course, who still has a lot of potential, and I'm very, very excited to watch. Hit the ball really, really hard. A few days I was out. I think it was 120 miles per hour twice in one game, I believe. So there's a lot going right for the Pirates right now. I mean, other than going, you also have Colin Holderman. Holderman is a guy that is a really solid young bullpen arm. Of course, a young arm out of the bullpen is going to be a guy that could potentially be a young setup man for David Bednar in the future, who is also a great closer for you guys. You have the 8th and 9th man for your bullpen set out. If I'm a Pirates fan right now, I'm really, really excited about our future, and something that I probably wouldn't have said a few years ago. If I'm the Pirates this offseason, I'm looking to sign a huge position player. You're not going to have money to sign Juan Soto, I'd say, but I think the team could potentially be compelling for a player maybe like a Pete Alonso, maybe an Alex Bregman, some of the other great position player free agents that I'm forgetting. Maybe it's a reach. You're going to say maybe they'll want to go to Pittsburgh. You have money to spend. You have an exciting young team, a beautiful ballpark, a really nice city. I would say Pittsburgh's a really nice city. I think you sign a superstar free agent, probably of the position player caliber, with the pieces you already have, add maybe 1 or 2 guys. You've got a real contender there. The Cubs are a good team, yes. The Brewers are a good team, yes. Cardinals are getting older. We don't really know who else. The Reds are a good team as well. So there's a lot of competition in the NL Central, yes. But Pirates have a lot going for them right now, a lot of building blocks there for the future. And if I'm a Pirates fan, I'm really, really excited about what they can do. And I'm really, really excited to watch this team for the first time in a long, long time. So yeah, very excited if I'm a Pirates fan. There's a lot going right for them for this team. So that is our second segment here, talking about Paul Skeens and the Pittsburgh Pirates. Moving into our third segment, which is going to be talking about Mason Miller and his season for the Oakland Athletics so far, how great it has been, and my overall thoughts on him. So yeah, going over that, and we'll see you after the break. So thanks, and bye.
Daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
And we're back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast, bringing you our third segment, which is going to be talking about Mason Miller and his incredible season so far for the Oakland Athletics. Now, I've talked about Miller a little bit on the show before. I did do a full segment on the A's a few weeks ago when they were really doing well and really just surprising a lot of people. So, I did want to go into a deeper dive of Mason Miller, and while I was on break for those 2 weeks, while I was not here, he really has exploded, and really the entire baseball world has taken notice. So I figured it was a right time to do a full segment on him and do a little bit of a deep, not really a deep dive, quote unquote, but just talking about him and just talking about how good he is. So first of all, I wanted to go over the stats for Mason Miller and just how incredible he's been. So first of all, his K per 9 is 17.61. So just to put that in perspective, if he was a starting pitcher and he went 9 innings, he would strike out 17 people per game. That's a lot. His walks per 9 isn't even that bad, 2.35, which is fine. K to walk ratio is 7.5. K percentage is 53.6. So again, if he was a starting pitcher, no, sorry, not the right analogy. He's striking out over half the people he faces. He's striking out 54% of the people he faces. That's incredible. That is insane and honestly just incredible. An ERA minus of 52, a FIP minus of -2, and a FIP of negative 0.01. He has a negative FIP. That's incredible. A negative FIP is not something that happens every year. That is something that is truly just remarkable and is something that we should be taking in consideration and taking into account as baseball fans and sitting back and saying, wow. His ERA is 1.96. He has 1.5 WAR. Just incredible season so far. I mean, absolutely stunning and incredible. He's won 23rd inning. He's gone 23 innings so far. Has 10 saves. Has not blown a single one. And yes, there's not many options to save games when you're on the Oakland A's, but when there has been, he's done it, and he's done a really good job of it. So props to him, and really good job there. So Mason Miller is just incredible. I mean, this guy is having one of the greatest relief seasons of all time, maybe even the greatest. He's drawing comparisons right now to what I would say is 2022 Edwin Diaz, how incredible he was then. Obviously, Diaz has been a little bad since coming back. That might be another segment in the future as well if that does continue. That was something else that, as a Mets fan, see the jersey behind me, was something that did break my heart and how bad he's been. But that's a different talk for a different day. But yeah, I mean, Mason Miller has just been incredible so far. His fastball is outstanding, throws 102 consistently. And this is a guy that last year was looked at as a starting pitcher prospect, not much of a closer. Became a closer because of some injury concerns the A's had with him. And it's looking like that might be the best career path because, wow. I mean, right now he's clearly the best closer in baseball. Yes, a little early. You have other great arms, of course, like Diaz, who has sucked this year, frankly put. Hader, who's been horrible. He was horrible at least. I guess he's done a little better now, but still overall in the season compared to Mason Miller, it's nothing. Felix Bautista, yes, a good player, but he's out for the season. So Mason Miller right now clearly is the best closer in baseball, and it's just been absolutely incredible. The pure stuff he has is insane and just blows my mind. I don't know how this guy throws this stuff. It's just incredible what he does. So, yeah, if I'm an A's fan, I'm feeling very, very excited about him and very, very happy. I mean, it's been a while since you've been an A's fan that you've had something this exciting to cheer on. And he's been part of the reason why they haven't been the worst team in baseball. Have they been bad? Sure. They're 22-33. They're 11 games under 500. Yes. But the thing about this is when you're 11 games under 500 for the A's, that's like being 500 for any other team because the A's are that bad. I mean, a certain publication, who I do not remember actually, had the A's as an over-under of being the worst MLB team ever. And at the time, people were like, yeah, seems about right. I was one of those people. The roster they've constructed is awful. They're not a good team. Their organization is a mess. But somehow you have Mason Miller going through all that, doing great, and propelling them to be not absolutely horrible. 11 games under 500 is bad, but it's not historic bad. So if I'm an A's fan, I'm very excited about Mason Miller right now. Very excited to watch him and just see this season more now. But yeah, he's been an absolute treat to watch. And, there has been some rumors about him being in trades. Now, when you're on the A's and you're a good player, no matter what year it is, you're going to be in trade rumors, even if you're good. Because, simply put, the A's don't have money to keep players. And yes, Mason Miller is in the start of his... sorry about that. Is in the start of his career and isn't going to be expensive until a few years later, probably. But the thing about the A's is now they're really bad this year. People are thinking, okay, could you capitalize off this season and trade him? Now, it does make some sense, I will say. You have Mason Miller, you have how good he's done, and you have his trade value being at an all-time high. You're not just trading for Mason Miller, the baseball player now. You're trading for Mason Miller, the guy who is extremely marketable. I mean, if he was on the Yankees, if he was on the Mets, the Dodgers, one of these big market teams, the Cubs, they'd have shirts printed all around for him, the fire-throwing closer, Mason Miller, the 100-mile-an-hour man, all these kind of things that are marketed to him because he is so marketable. Doesn't seem to be really anything off the field with him at all. He's just this young rookie, not really a rookie, but young player who's come in, done a really great job for the A's, and just come out of nowhere being this amazing closer. So there's a lot of marketability with him as well, and I think it does make sense to trade him. Now, of course, he is a great player, but the fact is he only throws an inning. He throws an inning a game. You probably can't throw him 2 or 3 times in a row because you're going to blow out his arm. So closers' value are going to just be naturally limited because they only throw an inning. They come out of the bullpen. They're not a starting pitcher. So it does make some sense for the A's to trade him. Now, you look on the other side of this. Also, just going back to what I was saying before about being potentially the good sides of trading him, you're trading him at his highest value when people know who he is. You get a top prospect for him. I know it was talked about how if a potential if let's say the Padres wanted to trade for him, who could be a potential fit because they need a closer, they would ask for top prospect Jackson Merrill. Now, of course, that's not happening. No team is giving that up. But that's the type of ask the A's can say we want because he is so early in his career. There's no other incentive for them to trade him. So the A's have the A's do have some leverage here in trade talks. So that is something you could say for the A's or you're an A's fan. But also, you're moving to Sacramento next year. You're going to be there for 2 to 3 years. You're then going to Vegas. Mason Miller's under contract for that entire time. You want to give the fans something to watch. As much as Brent Rooker's cool, first of all, who knows how long Brent Rooker's going to be on the team. He's not the guy to watch. Mason Miller is a guy that sells tickets. People will come to A's games. People will go to Sacramento. People will buy tickets to have the chance to see Mason Miller. As a Mets fan and as a guy who lives in Queens, 15 minutes away from Citi Field, I'll tell you, in 2022, if I thought Edwin Diaz had a chance of coming in the game, I was buying a ticket because I wanted to see the trumpets. That's something that does sell tickets. That is something that is a positive. You got to give the fans something to see. You want to sell tickets. You didn't sell many tickets in Oakland because of a lot of reasons. Don't have that be a thing in Sacramento. Be able to sell tickets. So that's a possibility to keep him because you want to market him. You want to give the fans something to see. He sells tickets. And overall, do I think the A's should trade him? I don't think the A's should trade him, but I also don't think they should not trade him. I think you should be listening to offers on any player as well, but don't trade him just because. Trade him if you get an insane offer. If the Padres offer Jackson Merrill tomorrow, I'm taking that deal in 2 minutes. But I'm not trading him I'm not trading him just to trade him. I'm trading him to get something insane and incredible. If someone offers an outstanding package, you trade him. If someone offers a good package, I'm not trading him. You offer a fair level package, you're not going to trade him because the A's have no reason to. But it is something that you could look to shop him because, again, his value is limited because of the position he plays and because the situation the A's are in, being in a deep rebuild, you could. But it's a very interesting scenario altogether, I will say, and something that I am going to be watching very heavily. I think that it is something that is really, really interesting so far, and it's just going to be something very interesting to watch for overall baseball for just this year. So yeah, that was our segment 3 here, talking about Mason Miller and his season for the Oakland Athletics. We'll be going over our fourth segment here, which is going to be talking about the NL standings and an overview of that. Let me just move that into the... not working apparently. So, we'll be going over the fourth segment here, talking about a little bit of an NL standings overview. I want to do that, and for the final segment as well, the fifth and final segment as well, just going over a little bit of a standings overview. As I have been gone, they have changed a little bit. So we'll go over the NL first, and we'll see you after the break. So thanks, and bye.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
And we're back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast, bringing you our fourth segment, which is going to be talking about a little bit of an NL standings overview and just what is happening overall with the standings right now. Obviously, I was out for a little bit, so I did just want to go over some stuff that I missed while I was out, which is just the standings, how they've changed, and just my overall thoughts on them. So we're going to go over the East first. We have the Phillies in first place, the Braves in second place, the Nationals in third place, the Mets in fourth place, and the Marlins in fifth place. Now, first of all, the Phillies in first place. Wow. I mean, they have been incredible so far. Their pitching has been elite. Their depth guys have really come in handy and really done a great job while Taijuan Walker was out, and have still done a great job there. Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola, Ranger Suarez, three of the best pitchers in baseball at this point, I'd say. Suarez has been one of the biggest surprises of the year. Now, Suarez was always a great pitcher, but he's done a really, really incredible job this year and has become a Cy Young candidate. I mean, again, he's been a great pitcher before, but this good was definitely not. I mean, he has an ERA under 2. His peripherals are also pretty good, so it's showing that this isn't really a fluke. So, if I'm a Phillies fan right now, I'm feeling real good. You're one of the best teams in baseball, and first place of 6 games over the Braves. Obviously, the Braves just got worse today, losing one of the best players in baseball for the entire year. So, very, very exciting. Yes, they haven't had the hardest schedule, but again, as I said, you can only beat the teams you played, so I'm not going to give any flack to the Phillies here for beating bad opponents, because again, that's just simply who's been on their schedule. So, props to them for taking advantage of it, which is something some other teams should be able to do. So, good job for them. The Braves, again, we just did a whole segment on them. You want to do that? If you want to see that, go check out segment 1 if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching live, I'll be posting that again later. But we just talked about the Braves really, so getting some negative news there, of course, with Acuña being out. So that is something that is pretty awful and something that is bad. So, really unfortunate there, and being behind the Phillies as well, something that's unfortunate. The Nationals in third place is really interesting. The Nationals were one of my sleeper teams going into the year. This is a team that I thought had a lot going for them. I think there's a lot of really good young players on this team. I think they could have surprised a lot of people. And they're 23 and 28, yes, so not a great record, but at the same time they're only 2.5 games out of the playoffs, because that's how the playoffs work nowadays. So, and I think this is a team that has a chance to get a lot better in the second half. You're going to have a lot of good younger players come up through the prospect pool, make them a lot better with the pitching, with the hitting overall, and I'm really excited to watch them, and I think they could be a really good team going forward. The Mets in fourth, man, oh man, the Mets have imploded. I mean, they just scrapped a 5-game losing streak yesterday with a great walk-off win, so good job for them. The game was postponed today because of rain. Can't confirm it is raining hard here in New York City. So, the Mets have just been a disaster. I don't know what is going on with them. They have been really, really bad. They have just really imploded. So, I don't know what to say about them. They have just been so inconsistent. Really been the stars. I may do a full segment on the Mets in a few days, just if they continue doing this bad. We'll see what the result is of the Dodgers series. But the stars have not been hitting. Lindor's been bad. They've not looked great. The Marlins in last place, yeah, they're horrible. Nothing really else to say about the Marlins here. They're really bad. They traded one of their better players in Luis Arias already, and it's May. Yeah, the Marlins are bad. Don't know what to tell you there. They're just really bad. They deserve to be in fourth. Sorry, they're in fifth, not fourth. They're in last, fifth. The NL Central, we have the Brewers in first, the Cubs in second, the Cardinals in third, the Pirates in fourth, and the Reds in fifth. Now, the Brewers in first, no real surprise here. As I've talked about, the Brewers have been one of the best teams in baseball this year, very surprisingly. This is a team that I did not think would be that good going into the year. I thought they would just be in kind of organizational limbo, seeing what kind of team they would be this year after losing Corbin Burns to trade, after losing Brandon Woodruff to injury. I think their pitching rotation was great. I still don't think it is, but Freddie Peralta's really stepped up, and their young offense has been doing really well. They've gotten a lot of they've gotten a lot of effect from their younger players, like a Sal Frelick, like a Jackson Churio, some other guys as well. So they've been doing really a good job, and I don't know if they will continue this, but they've done a really good job so far, and have been a really, really good team. And yeah, have just been one of the big surprises of the year, and props to them. I didn't think much of them this year, but they've done a really good job, so congratulations. The Cubs in second place. The Cubs, I do think, will end up winning the Central this year. I think, underestimate them a little bit going into the year. I think their pitching is something that is really something to marvel at. Shota Imanaga has been an incredible player, one of the best rookie seasons we've ever seen. Jameson Taillon has done a really good job in his second year in Chicago after a rough first year. Justin Steele recently came back after missing the first month of the year with injury. So, yeah, if I'm a Cubs fan right now, I'm feeling really good, even though you are at 27 and 26. You did lose some offensive players to injury, but they've come back, and yeah, I'm excited about you guys. I think there are a lot of good offensive players here, a lot of good players in this hitting core, and the pitching, of course, is incredible. So, yeah, if I'm a Cubs fan, I'm looking forward to the season, and I think you're going to do a really good job, and they've been really good this year. The Cardinals in third. Now, the Cardinals are a team I expect to be a little bit lower here. I didn't think they were that great, and they have not been playing this great this year, but they've done a pretty good job. They're 8-2 in their last 10, only one game under 500. They've done a really good job recently. But I still see a lot of inconsistencies in them. I think they're starting to step up more. You obviously had Goldschmidt and Arenado, who were not doing great. Goldschmidt stepped up a little bit, but still been pretty bad. Arenado has stepped it up a good amount as well. He's been good. So, yeah, there are good pieces with this Cardinals team, but again, I don't trust the pitching. The hitting's been inconsistent, and it's just about putting it all together. I don't know if they will, and not a fan of this Cardinals team. I do think they'll end up falling probably to fourth place, because I think the fourth place team we just talked about in the last segment, Pittsburgh Pirates, I think they're better. I think with all the pitching they have now with Jared Jones, Mitch Keller, Paul Skeens, I think they're really going to propel into that third place position. Probably even second. You could even maybe say second. I doubt that. I think the Brewers and Cubs are better, but I like the Pirates a lot this year. I think they have a lot going for them. Again, their hitting core is good. Just talked about them last segment, so I'm not going to go into them fully a lot more. But yeah, still a great team, and kind of surprised they're in fourth, but hey, they're a young team, and we'll have to see. The Reds have been a really underperforming team for me this year, 23 and 30. I expected them to win the NL Central, and they're currently last in it. Now, I'm really just sad about this team. I thought they would be doing so well. The pitching's been a little underwhelming. They've been hard with injuries, really hard with injuries, especially in the preseason. So I think this might just be a lost year for them with all the young players getting hurt. I'm not going to go too deep into it this year, but yeah, looking forward to next year when everyone's healthy. It's sad to write off this year already for the Reds, but yeah, they've been really hit hard by injuries. Ellie De La Cruz is a great player, though. Obvious franchise cornerstone, so that's something to look at. But get Matt McClain back, get Novelli Marte back, get some of the pitchers you've lost back. You got Nick Lodolo back today, so we'll see if he can do anything. But yeah, kind of a lost season for them with all the injuries, which is really unfortunate. The NL West, we have the Dodgers in first, Padres in second, Giants in third, Diamondbacks in fourth, Rockies in fifth. Dodgers in first, no surprise here. One of the best teams in baseball, 600 winning percentage, 11 games under 500. No surprise here. They're one of the best teams. We all know this. They're a dynasty. No real shocker here. Nothing really else to say. Second, of course, you have the Padres, who have done much better. 6 and 4 in their last 10. Obviously added Luis Arias in a trade early in the season. have a lot of good players on this team, have a great hitting core, have good pitching. It is something that needs to be worked on, but of course do have a good young hitting core. So no surprise here. The Padres second, still a really good team, and still a team I'm looking forward to watching throughout this entire year. Giants in third. They're 8-2 in their last 10, which is actually surprising because they were doing really bad before, but had a really horrible blown loss against the Mets yesterday. Have done really, really bad. So, yeah, unfortunate for them. Their hitting still is a mess, but gotten a little better. Patrick Bailey back, of course, that helps. But, yeah, not a lot for the Giants to say here. I think they're an okay team. It's just I think they're too underwhelming. And I think there's a lot of question marks being answered about this team that I don't really think will be answered. Fourth, we have the Diamondbacks. Again, a team that I thought, like the Reds, would be really good this year, 25-28, but sorry about that. Coughed again. Have dealt with some injuries. Have been a team that have underperformed. So unfortunate about them, and I did think they'll be a lot better than they have been. Does kind of suck. Last, we have the Rockies. The Rockies are so bad. I'm not going to spend much time on them. We know about this. 346 winning percentage. Yeesh. They're really, really bad. We all know this. So yeah. That is our fourth segment here, going over the NL standings and an overview of that in general. Going into our fifth and final segment, we'll be going over the American League standings, a little bit of overview of that. So yeah, we'll talk about that, and we'll see you after the break. So thanks, and bye. Welcome back to the GSMC podcast, bringing you our fourth and final segment. In this, we'll be talking about the American League standings and just a little bit of an overview of that. Let me change the title here to make it American League. So there we go. So we'll be going over that, and yeah, let's go over it. We just did the National League, so it is only fitting to the American League. As I said, I was out for a little bit. That is why there was no stream for those days that I was out. But I am back now. We're back for a long time. Not planning on taking any breaks. So, yeah. Excited for a lot of content to come. But going over the American League here, we'll start off with the East. In first, we have the Yankees in first, Orioles in second, Red Sox in third, Rays in fourth, and Blue Jays in fifth. Now, for the Yankees being in first, not really an entire surprise here. 7-3 in their last 10, 37-18. Incredible team. I'd say probably right now they probably are the best team in baseball. I know people don't like to hear that because of the Yankees. People don't like them, but that is what I'd say right now if I'm a Yankees fan or just a fan of baseball in general. I mean, this team is incredible. The pitching staff has been incredible. Aaron Judge and Juan Soto has been everything that we thought it would be and more. Just two incredible players. Soto has thrived so much in New York. My MVP pick for him looking pretty good right now. That's exciting. So, yeah, the Yankees, they're just such an incredible team. They're doing so well, and they're just doing so great. So, yeah, if I'm a Yankees fan, I'm very excited about this team, and this is one of the best Yankees teams in a long time, and they're very, very good. Orioles in second, 1.5 back from the Yankees. Now, we all know of the Yankees and the Orioles. Well, they're both the two best teams in the AL, I'd say, pretty clearly, with the Astros struggles this year, who, of course, we'll be talking about later. both these two teams are pretty incredible, and again, are just neck and neck with who can go in first place in the AL East. Both teams are just really, really great. But the Orioles are in second right now. Again, I think they're the second best team in the AL. They got Kyle Bradish back, which is big. Of course, he went 7 no-hit innings yesterday. It was against the White Sox, so to be fair, but it was against the worst team in baseball. But still, not something to laugh at. Not something to, just it's not something to write off. That's still a great accomplishment. You have a great ace tandem with Corbin Burns and Kyle Bradish. Some other young pitchers as well that are doing really well in Grayson Rodriguez. Of course, the ability to add someone at the deadline if you need to. You have a lot of great prospects. So the Orioles still a really great team. I'd say they're second in the AL right now, but the Yankees are doing better, and I think they have been better. Third is the Red Sox. The Red Sox have been really surprising this year. I mean, this is a team that really no one thought of. People thought they were just mediocre, but they're 2 games out of a playoff spot right now, are above the Blue Jays and the Rays, and are exactly at 500. And their pitching staff. I mean, the pitching staff has been incredible. Some of these guys that just came out of nowhere were really mediocre pitchers, have made a name for themselves, and have made a name for themselves probably as long-term pieces of this Red Sox rotation. You could say it's up. You could say it's because of Andrew Bailey, who's the new pitching coach they hired in the offseason. A guy who knows what he's doing, obviously, has done a really great job there. That's a possibility. But overall, just the organization's looking good right now. The team is looking really good, and they're above the Rays and the Blue Jays. That's not something to laugh at. I mean, the Rays and the Blue Jays right now, both teams have dealt with some injuries, dealt with inconsistent play from their stars, which is something that is obviously not really what you want to see. So, yeah, I'm a Red Sox fan. I'm really excited right now, and I'm really happy with what's going on. So, yeah, this team's looking really good, and the pitching staff is something really to marvel at. Doing very, very well with guys like Garrett Whitlock doing great. Of course, he just went on the injured list, but unfortunate. Tanner Houck doing well. So, yeah, if I'm a Red Sox fan, I'm really excited, and a lot going right for you guys right now. A lot is going right. Of course, the Rays and the Blue Jays, again, both teams have developed some injuries, inconsistent play from their stars, just really unfortunate, and both teams might have to have a real hard look in the mirror at the trade deadline, especially the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays are 23 and 29 right now, last place in the AL East, are kind of stuck on a holding pattern with their organization, it looks like. If they decide to sell, they get a lot of good prospects, a lot of good players. They could sell Bo Bichette. They could sell Vladdy. They could sell Chris Bassett. They could sell Yusei Kikuchi. They could sell Kevin Gausman. There's a lot of possibilities for the Blue Jays at the deadline, and they're a team I'm really looking at as that does come up, and a team that I'm definitely watching. In the AL Central, we have the Cleveland Guardians. Now, this is we have the Cleveland Guardians in first, Royals in second, Twins in third, Tigers in fourth, White Sox in fifth. The Guardians have just been incredible this year, have been one of the best teams in baseball, second best winning percentage in all of baseball, have just been so incredible. Nobody expected anything from this team start of the year. I didn't. I thought they would just kind of be mediocre, but the young hitting core has been incredible. The pitching has done a really good job, even without Shane Bieber, who was out in the start of the year with Tommy John. This team doesn't look like it's going anywhere. They've done a really, really great job. Been really, really impressive. And, yeah, they've done a really great job. Been a really extraordinary team. And just have exceeded a lot of expectations. And they don't look like stopping anytime soon, so props to them. Second is the Royals. Now, the Royals are 14 games above 500. They've been just incredible. Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez have really led that offense. Salvador Perez, he has found the potion for being young. I mean, wow, has this guy been incredible this year. After that, of course, the incredible pitching staff. Brady Singer, Cole Reagans, Michael Wacha, Seth Lugo. Just incredible arms they have in that rotation, in that staff. I mean, it's really incredible. This is a really, really good team. This is a team that spent a lot of money this offseason, and it's worked out. A real small market team spending money, and it's working out. Some other teams should take notice. I mean, wow, they have been incredible, and they look to be legit. I'm really excited to watch this Royals team, and for just going on for the rest of the season, and they've been really, really good. The Twins in third is something that I have been disappointed with. 4-6 in their last 10. Started off really horrible, did really well, and now have not done horrible again, but have done really mediocre. I love this Twins team. I think they're one of the best teams in the American League. And the fact that they are playing like this is something that is unfortunate to me. I expect a lot more out of them, and I think they should do much better. So it is kind of unfortunate there, and it is something that I am a little disappointed with them in, but still think they're a great team. Looks like the Royals and the Guardians are much better than them, but hey, we'll have to see. I mean, you look at the Twins right now; they are in the playoffs currently, so good for them. But yeah, definitely would like to see them pick it up, and maybe would like to see them in second in the AL Central. Detroit, 1 game under 500. I expect them to be a little bit better, but this division's really good. They've had a tough schedule so far, so we'll have to see about it. But I still think they have a lot of great players in this team, and are a really, really good team, and really excited to watch them. So, yeah. White Sox in last. They're horrible. We know this. The White Sox are the worst team in baseball. They're historically bad. Not going to say much else about that. AL West, we have the Mariners in first, Rangers in second, Astros in third, A's in fourth, and the Angels in fifth. The Mariners being in first is really, really interesting. You know, you've had the Rangers had a lot of injuries. You've had the Astros be bad. So the Mariners taking advantage of that. They've not been outstanding. I mean, they're only 26 and 20. They're only 28 and 26, 519 winning percentage, only 2 games above 500. But they're in first place by 3 games. They've taken advantage of the other teams in their division being bad, and props to them. They have a really good young team. Sorry for coughing again. They have a lot of good young players in this hitting core. The pitching is incredible, something that I really marvel at, how many just great young pitchers are on this team. And yeah, if I'm a Mariners fan, I'm excited. You're not, again, above 500 that much, but you don't need to be with this division right now. Yes, the Astros are lurking, so are the Rangers, but right now they're doing really well, and there's a lot of good pieces on this Mariners team, so props to them. The Rangers are in second here. They are 25 and 29. Just been unfortunate for them. They've gotten hit with so many injuries, 3-7 in their last 10. I mean, the pitching injuries have really come back to hurt them now. Scherzer, DeGrom, of course, coming back. We don't know when because they're old. So I wouldn't really count on that if I'm a Rangers fan. But yeah, just unfortunate with all the injuries they've had. I've kind of expected this. Wyatt Langford wasn't really the big bat I thought he would be, and then he got hurt. So that's something else that has been unfortunate for them. I think they put a lot of their eggs in the basket of Wyatt Langford being an impact player this year, and he just hasn't been. So that's unfortunate. But yeah, Rangers still okay. The Astros in third. They started off the season horrible and have been better. 6-4 in their last 10. Still 5 games under 500 at 24 and 29. But they've shown some semblance of life. The pitching has been decent. The offense has been doing some things. So I still think the Astros will win this division when the season ends. There are some concerns here, but I don't see any team really running away with this division. I don't know if the Rangers will. I'm not entirely sold on the Mariners. I think they're a good team, just not entirely sold on them to beat the Astros. So the Astros still do have to get their stuff together pretty soon, I'd say. So let's see about that. But yeah, if I'm an Astros fan, I'm feeling better than I was before. Jose Abreu's coming back after his stint in the minor leagues, so we'll see if he brings an impact there, if he does get his power back. But yeah, the A's we just talked about again in our third segment. Not a great team, but they have some players, but they're not going to do anything. The Angels in fifth. The Angels are really bad. They lost their best player, Mike Trout. They're not going to do anything this year. End of story. So they're pretty clearly the 5th best team in this division and one of the worst teams in baseball. So yeah, that is it for our show today, guys. I want to thank you so much for watching. Remember to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram for more content and updates. Remember to, again, subscribe to us on YouTube and the notification bell to not only get notified when I upload, but all the other great content creators on this channel do. I want to thank you guys so much for watching the show again. I did take a little bit of a break in between. I am back now. Very excited to do the show again. Very excited to talk to all of you guys about baseball. And just have fun doing this again. So thank you guys so much for watching. It's a great day outside. Enjoy it. And we'll see what baseball throws at us tomorrow. Thank you guys, and bye. See you.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn.